I'm Doth Savick, and this is the Starframe Retro. Starframe sent me this bag to review. They sent it to me at no cost. A huge shout out to those guys. I really appreciate it. This is the second bag they sent me over. You can see in the background there I've got the brick. I've already done a review for that one. I like how this is laid out a little bit better than the brick. They definitely have some trade-offs. They both have some unique access, and we'll dig straight into this guy and I'll show you all about it. We'll start over on the website here. You can see starframebags.com. They've got this up for 75 bucks right now. You'll notice right at the top it says 100 plus and you get free shipping. Shipping was, I think, $10 when I looked a little bit earlier today. So maybe you want to add a little bit more onto your order and get free shipping for this guy. They do have a couple things on there, some t-shirts. They sent me over one of these. They've got it as a squishy knee pad, but it's actually got the angle of a tilt on it, almost that wing. This thing is crazy overstable. It's kind of a fun little trick disc. I've actually can throw it quite a bit further if I rip it upside down. It's kind of fun to have something so floppy that you can just rip super hard, but also you could play with it in the house or whatever because it's so soft. And then knee pad too, so I don't know, kind of a fun little extra thing you might consider adding on to your order if you're looking for the free shipping. This bag comes in at a very light weight. It's comparable with the Upper Park Shift. This is 1.17 kilos. That's 2 pounds 9 ounces. And there's not a whole lot of bags in that super light weight class. Like, this is lighter than the Revolution Carolina that I just reviewed. So nice and light. It can get heavy if you really load it up with a bunch of beverages. This has a cooler underneath, and it will hold a 12 pack. You can set 12 cans straight up, 3 across and then 4 deep, and slide them all in there. It'll hold a ton of beverages. I think I read a review, somebody saying they tried to put ice in there and it ended up leaking. I hadn't even considered trying to put ice in there. It's stitched at corners and stuff, and water just gets through stitching pretty easy. So if you want to keep stuff even cooler than the insulation in here will, I'd recommend just using like frozen ice packs. That would be totally the way to go. 12-ounce cans across the bottom, and then they've got it advertised as 16 discs across the top, and they're definitely not overselling you on that one. You can fit more than 16 in here. In fact, I've got 17 discs as we look at it right now, and 8 of those are putters and mids, and then I've got 9 drivers across here, and you can see we're not full like that. I can spread that out, and I could put a few more discs in there if I wanted. Now, how many discs you fit up here and how the discs sit really depends on how you've loaded up the cooler underneath. You can see how it is right now. These discs are actually settled down. They're sinking into the cooler compartment. You may have noticed when I opened that up that I had cans sitting in here this way. And part of that is to allow those discs to come down. Like if I take one of these out here and you look at this line and then I bring this disc to about the same, then you can see how that disc is hanging down into the cooler department. I did have one disc disappear on me. I actually thought I had lost it out on the course, and this is just like kind of a real specific quirk. I'll just show you really quick before we move on. On the left side of the bag, where you'd have it on your left shoulder, there is a seam over here that the disc can actually fall down into, like that. That is kind of where the cooler ends. There's a divider in there, but that divider is not sewn to that far wall, or there's no Velcro or anything like that. So just a quick heads up, if you are, maybe that's partly why they say 16 discs, so that you don't pack it so full you have one slide over there. You know, you're not going to lose it, but it might give you a moment of panic if you know, like me, and you're like, oh no, where'd that high-speed driver go, or whatever. And it's not just drivers. A putter can slide down in there as well. So that's something to keep in mind. I think that this is the best loadout for it, with cans going horizontally down in the bottom. I like these discs when they can sink a little bit lower. It helps them not want to roll out over this edge, which is not super tall here. The part of that equation is where the haul loop is at, being all the way back, you know, not lifting here on the center of the bag. When you lift it up, the bag tips forward. And you can see those discs are held securely as I have it now. But if we change how we've got these beverages set up and stack them vertically, then it really changes what's going on in that main disc compartment. So I'll reach in there and start flipping them up, and you can already see how those discs on that side are getting lifted up. And I probably don't need to do all 12 cans in here to illustrate this, but we'll put 9 of them in. Or why not? I'll just do all 12. I've got them here. We'll show you what it looks like with all 12 in there. So that really is changing some things. For one, it's taking this whole section of the bag and just lifting it up. You'd notice before this zipper's, you know, the bag is kind of collapsing in on those corners. This has given us like a really solid frame for everything else to sit on now. And you can see that all those discs have really lifted up higher, and they kind of even want to roll forward on us. Let me get that driver back up here. So we just have some different things going on. If I pick this up now, you can see how all those discs roll forward. I've not had one eject like that, but it makes me, you know, it's kind of unnerving to have the, you know, discs come that far forward. It also, you can see they're all starting to lean. With that extra support from the bottom, it makes you even more, you know, want to open this up and add more discs in there. So, you know, again, I think I've got 17 in there now. I could put easily 3 more mids, or probably 4 drivers, and, you know, get up to 20, 21 discs across there. It adds a lot of weight to the bag also. If you're putting 12 cans in there, you know, you're going out for a party round, or, you know, sharing beverages with a large group of people, something like that. It's hard to think that many people would use the bag regularly with that many cans in there. Now you do have the option of just using this bottom as storage for other things if you're not carrying a whole bunch of beverages. I'll get it back to my preferred setting here with the 6-pack, and you can see what I'm talking about. This opening's just not, you know, quite as upright and stiff, and you can see how those discs are coming down and sitting on top of those cans. It's just so much more secure for the discs to be settled down in there. If you're not carrying, you know, that many beverages down here, then you'd certainly be using a dedicated beverage holder over on the side. This is 20-ounce Powerade in there. Of course, it's just perfect to put a can inside. I really like this bungee that they've put on here. For, you know, especially if you had a taller bottle, like on the webpage they had a thermos in there up high hanging out, and, you know, with this with the stretchy bungee on there, it really makes you feel like you've got it, you know, you've got a beverage secured. I'm not quite sure why they did this on the brick also, but that bottle holder doesn't go all the way down to the ground. That's a little bit weird to see in the lighting. There you can see they've got a gap underneath it. So that just kind of makes it hang and sag out a little bit. I don't know that there's any advantage to that. Having it off the ground there is just a little bit of a quirk. No grommet in the bottom of that, so if you do spill, you're going to be holding some water in there until it kind of seeps through or soaks out. Also, that is too small to put a full-size Nalgene in. It's just not a chance, no way. So you're definitely gonna have to find some skinnier bottles, to hold your whatever kind of extra beverage you might want over there if you're not going with cans. You'll notice that for the way I've set up these discs, I've got 2 putting putters right in the middle. And that is where they live for me if I'm carrying beverages down in the bottom. If I've got beverages down in the bottom, then the only other storage spot I've got on this bag is the top pocket. So all my valuables and towels and whale sack, bug spray, whatever, all of that stuff has to go up here. And which means I don't really want to put my stick putters in with all of that stuff. So putters come down and live in the main compartment. I don't honestly mind that too much. It certainly is super nice to have a high spot just dedicated for 2 to 4 discs. But that is not how I've got it loaded up right now. It certainly is an option. We've got enough room up here for discs. I guess I'd have my phone stuck up there too, or probably this might just be one of those bags where cell phone is going to live in your pocket. But I got my wallet, my keys stuck in there, and then a whale sack, a couple towels, and then bag tags, bug spray, all those other little things in a couple bags here. Now I could take all of that stuff, let's see, maybe I'd put a towel back up here. And then maybe even take advantage of that and carry a few extra discs. So you can see putters fit okay up there. Even if you want to pull that flap out, that could help hold some putters a little bit better. They'd fit just fine. It's a little weird if you were going to try to get that zipper closed. You can tell that's not what they designed that specifically for, was to put putters. They're thinking you're going to put all your other stuff up there probably. But if you did want to do that, you could then take all of that other stuff and put it in a bag. Like this guy's about the right size. This is just a random. I think this is like a 6x9, or maybe that's 10 inches, something like that. But I could fill that up with all of that other stuff and just slide it straight in the bottom. And this takes up about the same amount of space as those 6 cans that I have setting in there. So you've got that option. Like if you really want to carry those extra discs on top and you're not going to be carrying a whole pile of beverages, you could put a whole sweatshirt down there real easy if you wanted, or a little bag like I've got. You got a quick peek at the haul loop earlier. I got this a little bit twisted somehow. It doesn't look the prettiest, but it is just the sheath, I think, that I've twisted a bit. We've got tubular webbing, and then like a little piece of rope sewn in the middle, and then a rubber guard on the outside. It's solid. You've got something really hefty there that you can grab a hold of to lift the bag. It does, make the whole bag swing that direction, as I mentioned earlier. We got a D-ring up on the corner. We've got a bottle opener on the side of the strap and sternum strap connection with a pretty good amount of room that we can slide that up or down. Definitely not a huge amount of padding in those straps, but that's about what we'd expect for the weight of the bag. On the back here, we've got maybe a little hard to pick this up. But there's two different things going on here. This center section, as well as this little cut on the side here, there's very thin padding there, hardly any, just a little bit in those areas. And then these two arches on the side, as well as this piece on the bottom, has padding that's maybe like 4 or 5 times thicker. You can see that edge right there as that part stands out. So a little bit of unique shape. Because of how light it is, I find it to be pretty comfortable. Depending on how you've got stuff set up down in that cooler section, you may have kind of a hard corner here that you're feeling on your lower back. If you've got cans upright and 12 across, this is like a block against your back. It definitely is going to feel like a hard corner there. As I have it with those cans laying horizontally, this squishes right in. I'm overdoing it there, but kind of to illustrate that will take shape to your back. You get a nice curve to it, so that's another benefit of laying those cans down on that angle. Once it does that little curve, I find it to be a pretty comfortable bag. 12 cans in there, you feel a lot of weight on your shoulders, but if you're going more like 6, and the amount of discs that I have in there, it's really not too much weight. Got a little too tippy there and dumped my putters out. We'll go this way. On the bottom, you can see that we've got 4 plastic dome-shaped feet on there, and you'll get maybe a little bit more stability on the bag because of that. They're not keeping it out of the mud. You can see I'm not afraid to get my bags dirty. During testing, I definitely got this in some dirt and mud there. My favorite thing about this bag is just the vibe, like the colors of it. The unique style is super cool. I had to put on my, retro shirt here for this review also. I played around recently with a friend, and I can't remember exactly the context of the conversation, but he brought up there's a difference between, or you could make a definition between different styles of bags, some of them being more of a tournament, ready bag. And I thought that was a really good thing to consider. That's not what this bag is, aimed at. It doesn't have the mini marker pocket. It doesn't have spot for scorecard, pencils. Those sorts of dedicated things really make a bag a little bit more tournament ready. You'd like to see a spot for an umbrella, a quick stick, something like that, and just a little bit more kind of separated storage. This is aimed a different direction. Like it's just fun vibes. It's a little bit more of a streamlined bag, not a whole lot going on, and that helps keep its price down. I really like that they went with some fun colors on it too. That speaks to me. I'm a sucker for that stuff. If you see somebody carrying a bag like this out on the course, and you can tell that they know how to have fun, and they're out there on the course to have fun, right? I think that's neat, and I'm sure that that'll be a very attractive thing to a bunch of you. So, if the other things I've mentioned about different ways to use that cooler and how the discs will sit high or low, if you think that's stuff that you can manage, then I think this is an excellent choice. It's a fun bag to carry around. I appreciate you guys stopping by for another review. Hoping to crank out quite a few here before long, so stay tuned for the next one. Have a good day.